It's all going to zero against Bitcoin.
It's going up forevermore.
You're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Simply Bitcoin, the #1 daily live Bitcoin show on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. We cover breaking news, culture, and mimetic warfare. And usually we bring on Bitcoiners from all around the world, from the biggest names to the everyday Bitcoiner. But today, it's just me and my co-host Sophie. But anyways, we will be your guide through the separation of money and state. And as you can tell from the title, guys, we are about to wrap up the third epoch. It is almost officially over. We are a little less than 200 blocks. We'll go over exactly how many blocks until the halving in the numbers. And I've seen a lot of people confused literally about what the halving is, what it's going to do to price, and rather more on the idea like, is this time different? So we'll go into that. I got a video here of the Grayscale CEO, say what you want about him, but making the rounds on the corporate press, talking about the halving. And then, you know, I know we're getting trolled in the chat already about, oh, simply price predictions. But hey, I'll tell you right now, we are not giving you numbers. All we're telling you is number will go up. I will bring the historical price of Bitcoin around the halving. I do have a Bitwise, I wouldn't say a thread, but a Bitwise tweet kind of explaining what's going on. All we know, guys, is Bitcoin is becoming more scarce. It's going to officially, undeniably be the hardest money in the world right now. It already can technically be said it is the hardest money in the world with the lowest inflation rate, but it will be undeniable in about 200 blocks or so. And then in the news, we got a very interesting development happening in El Salvador. Google has officially incorporated in El Salvador, making it the first technology hub in Central America, really leaning into the sovereign individual thesis of if you set good incentives in your country, you will attract entrepreneurs. And this is what we say about Bitcoin. Is it a coincidence that, you know, ever since Bitcoin or El Salvador got on the Bitcoin standard, that now they are incentivizing people to come to their country? They are developing their country. It's the safest country in the world. Hey, you can make your own assumptions on that. But I think it's very interesting considering Google's moving down to El Salvador. Are they starting to see what we see all the time, that they are holding melting ice cubes with so much cash on their balance sheet? We're not there yet. Only time will tell. But it is a good signal that they are finally giving El Salvador some acknowledgement. So you just love to see it. I just can't wait till this happens in more and more countries, and more countries around the world start to embrace Bitcoin and start to innovate. And of course, get richer along the way. This is a feature, not a bug, guys. And then, of course, in the culture, we did get a good comment on YouTube, and so I am once again back to talk about self-custody and my framework, the best practices when it comes to self-custodying your Bitcoin. He kind of mentioned that he's still a little intimidated when it comes to self-custody. I know, I still remember the first time I took Bitcoin into self-custody, and it absolutely terrified me. But after you get over the initial hump, it's super simple, guys. Like, do not complicate this. It's not as hard as you may make it out to believe. But hey, there is no rewind button, so you will have to take it slow. There are some best practices. So I'm going to go over again for the new people in the back, for everyone to get up to date so that we can all take our Bitcoin into custody, because as we say all the time, self-custody is the revolution. And as you can tell, I'm the one hosting the show. It's your boy Opti, but I'm not alone. We got Sophie back off maternity leave, at least for today. Nico's headed to Nashville right now. He's going to be a part of the Bitcoin Magazine, a live halving stream. But anyways, Soph, how you doing?
We are doing super well. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, of course. We need a little feminine energy on Simply Bitcoin sometime.
Always need a little feminine energy.
Just a little bit.
Especially during the halving. Like, now that all of you guys are going to get girlfriends, you know, we should...
Debatable.
Debatable. I don't think so. I mean, girls be gold digging, or I guess, what do you call it now?
Sat digging. Sat digging, yes. So there's hope for you guys yet. All right. Anyways, so super happy to have you here. Always great takes from Selfie. I think she can speak better than Nico and Opti. So we finally got a professional on the stream. This is going to be great. All right, guys, let's get into the show.
Highly regarded.
Highly regarded TM. Highly regarded TM. Anyways, guys, we got a good show for you guys. So sit back, relax. We're going to provide the signal for you. Let's go.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed.
I jumped the gun on the Bitcoin wallet, but scan the QR code. Oh, wrong one too. Wow, your boy is all over the place today. Scan the QR code.
Damn,
and I'll cover this in the culture. But until then, let's plug Bitcoin well, because I just got a message from Adam this morning, and the Bitcoin jackpot is at 5.5 million sats, guys. So you have literally under, I think it's like 195 blocks until the jackpot contest is over, and you won't be able to win the sats. But anyways, back to Bitcoin Well, guys. We love the boys over at Bitcoin Well. It's a Bitcoin-only exchange. It is self-custody by default, no VC money, and literally no withdrawals when you take your Bitcoin into custody. And they want your feedback on making it the best self-custody Bitcoin-only platform possible. So go talk to Adam, hit him in the DMs, hit him publicly. They want to get your feedback, and they're constantly listening to your feedback. I think he told me every 2 weeks they're going to update it and ship new products and new features for you guys. But again, you know, the Bitcoin Well jackpot, guys, 5.5 million sats, and you will win 69% of that if you are the winner. And then the second winner is 21, and the rest, the 10%, will go to a fund of your choice. So go vote for that on the Twitterverse. But guys, you are running out of time, so you need to sign up today. Go to bitcoinwell.com/contest, sign up. Or if you're already a user, then you got to find the rewards tab. Anyways, they're giving out free sats for you guys. Who doesn't like free sats? So let's get into the numbers, guys. As you can tell, my favorite number is the block height. We are currently at a block height of 839,803, and the sats per dollar, we're at 1,565 sats per dollar. Amazing. Remember when we were all complaining about, you know, sats being 5,000 and when we're going to get under 3,000 and 2,000? Well, now it looks like we're getting closer to under 1,000 sats. Man, your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. Absolutely incredible. Anyways, the Bitcoin price is currently at $63,900. The percentage of Bitcoin that will ever be issued is currently at 93.74%. The market cap in fiat terms is 1.26 trillion. I think that's roughly above the silver market cap. It's holding on above silver. So, you know, I got a few people talking about silver in my Twitter DMs and what do you call it? Mentions the other day. Bitcoin is superior to silver. We don't call it hard money because it makes a sound when you drop your money. And that's literally what someone was basically saying on Twitter. Can't make this up. Anyways, the real inflation currently at 1.73, taking fiat currencies to school. And that is going down in roughly 200 blocks. Actually, let me update this so that, yeah, we get the current block height. The Bitcoin versus gold market cap, we are at 9.09%. We're not even at 10% of the gold market cap. So there's still so much room to run in the hard money game. You just love to see it. The total public lightning capacity is 4,417.68 BTC. And the hash rate the last 90 days is at 588 exahashes. The pending fees, it kind of kicked up the last couple of days. It kicked up a little bit, but honestly, guys, I think we might see some crazy stuff on the halving day. So maybe consolidate or wait a little bit, because there's gonna be a lot of things happening on the halving day with all this ordinals and whatever this rune stuff is. So fees might get crazy, guys. So do not wait till the halving to consolidate. Maybe give it some time. Maybe do it today. Anyways, the pending fees currently is 11.49 BTC, at least to the mempools that Clark Moody is connected to. And the biggest number here, guys, the blocks to halvening, 197 blocks till the halvening. Let's go. And of course, it looks like we're not going to hit the meme date of April 20th, but we're going to hit April 19th. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be in 200 blocks. It'll be tomorrow at some point, probably in the evening. Who knows what's going to happen, but I think it's going to be a late night halving. So, get your champagne ready if you want to. Go have fun. Have a good time.
Wait, if it's a late night halving, that means that it might be 420 for some people.
It's going to be 420 in some parts of the world, but for us, I think it's going to be.
You know what? It's going to be 420.
Yeah,
in all our hearts.
Meme is life, and life is meme. Okay. All right, guys.
Time is meme.
It's block height. That's the only time that matters, guys. You guys are all Gregorian maxis, and it shows. We are time chain maxis. All right, guys. So I was telling you, today's numbers is about the halving. Of course, everyone's wondering. There's still people out there that don't even know what the halving is. There's people out there that are wondering what's going to go on with the price. Is the price going to tank? Is the price going to go up? It doesn't really matter in the short term. It might go down. It might go up. This is Opti's trading group. Hey, I don't know what's going on. It might go down. It might go up. All you need to know is buy some Bitcoin. But the signal is being spread, and you can see here the Grayscale CEO, Michael Sonnenschein, I'm butchering your last name, sorry, on Bloomberg discussing the upcoming Bitcoin halving this week. And, very simply, if demand for this asset is continuing to increase, but the supply is slowing down, historically, that's been a tailwind for Bitcoin price. So Bitcoin becoming the hardest, soundest money in the world. It kind of technically officially is already the hardest, soundest money in the world, but now it will be undeniable. There will be half the amount of Bitcoin that circulate throughout the day, which means, hey, less Bitcoin on the market, more demand. Number goes up. We'd love to see it. Someone in the chat, or rather on my timeline, was like, all right, that's cool. Hardest money in the world in one day. What's that mean for me? It means number goes up. It's going up forever. But anyways, let's get the signal here. And then, I hate to bring a chart for you guys, but we're gonna kind of at least give you a framework for what's going to happen to the price after the halving.
You look towards this Bitcoin halving. Maybe it'll happen on Friday.
Wait. 1 second. What's going on? My audio's acting up over here. Was that coming through for you?
Yeah.
Oh, it seemed like it was coming through my computer. All right. Anyways, let's go.
Imminent. Usually it's a tailwind for prices, but are you expecting that this time? Have we already hit the rally, the peak of the rally for Bitcoin for 2024?
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I think for a lot of investors, especially this Bitcoin halving, it's a little bit different this time around. And I really say that because I think it's really a function of who and how many investors are involved in the crypto ecosystem as compared to other halvings. So for a lot of investors, this has been a really important milestone for them to really revisit the fundamentals of Bitcoin. The fact that the overall cap of the Bitcoin token supply issuance will only reach 21 million tokens. On average, new Bitcoin are mined about every 10 minutes, so new Bitcoin coming into circulation. And about every 4 years, that supply gets cut in half. So Bitcoin today, there's about 19 plus million tokens in circulation. It'll take about the next 120 years for the remaining, 2 or so million Bitcoins to come online. And every time we come up to one of these halving events, it really does come back to the fundamentals of supply and demand. If demand for this asset is continuing to increase, but the supply is slowing down, historically, that has been a tailwind for Bitcoin prices. So we're just a couple of days away from this next Bitcoin halving. So I think a lot of investors are eagerly anticipating to see what the market reaction will be.
Let's go. Absolutely love to see it. I love when corporate legacy media finally gets some good signal out there, and especially on Bloomberg. Like Bloomberg,
I was about to say, if you hear this guy talk, you would think that he's just like 100% fiat and like kind of, you know, not on our side, like definitely doesn't sound like a Bitcoiner. And then you hear what he has to say and it's like, wow, we finally made it. We've arrived. This is finally the moment that we've been waiting for.
We've made it. I love to see Bloomberg finally get some signal out there. So they're basically just as bad as the fiat times. Anyways, there is this good tweet from Bitwise on Twitter, and it goes, historically, the halving has been good for Bitcoin's price long term. A look at the data. The change in Bitcoin price in the year following the halving, 2012, we had an 8,839% increase. In 2016, we had a 285% increase. In 2020, we had a 548% increase. And then the change in Bitcoin's price in the month following the halving, 2012, it was 9%. In 2016, it went down 10%. In 2020, it went 6%. So the data is limited, but the picture reveals an intriguing pattern. The market prices in the short-term impact of the halving, but underestimate the long-term impact. And a lot of new people are coming into Bitcoin. And I even talked with my boy, Alex from Kaboom Racks. I'm like, yo, is there going to be a lot of blood on the streets for the miners? He's like, I think there might be some blood on the streets. I even talked from another friend. He's like, man, I even think the mempools are going to get crazy. We have all this stuff going about, ordinals and inscriptions, and the fees might get absolutely insane on that block for the new epoch. So buckle up, guys. It looks like it might be a celebration. And even, I forget where it was. Like, I think CNBC was basically saying that the halving is like the World Cup for Bitcoin. So it seems like now it's becoming a celebration for the halving. And, we just went to El Salvador for a party. So maybe the world's waking up a little bit to the importance of the halving. And here, again, I told you guys I was going to bring a little chart here. And this is not for price predictions. There's no TA here. It's just to show you on the chart what has happened to the Bitcoin price after the halving. So I have them marked here, the days of the halving. You can see here November 12th. And what did it do? It started to run afterwards. And that's roughly a year after the halving, when the price gets a blow off top, it starts to hit new highs. Again, it'll go sideways. It hits the halving. It might dip a little bit, and then it starts to make its run. And that was July 2016. Again, pretty similar. The month after the halving, the price might kind of consolidate, might go down a little bit, but it starts to run roughly 12 to 18 months afterwards, and we're seemingly doing the same pattern again. So, this month, the price kind of went down, finally a red month, and next month, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe it goes down a little bit. We saw it's gone historically down maybe, minus 10% on the monthly close. Or maybe it goes up 10% on the monthly close. So maybe we just go a little sideways, but historically, 12 to 18 months after the halving, the price starts to make absolutely new, incredible highs, which is why I had to put the sailor meme here. Guys, it's going up forever. So what's going to happen to the Bitcoin price? Again, like people are trolling me in the chat, I don't know. No one knows what's going to happen after the halving. All we know is that Bitcoin is becoming scarcer. There's going to be less Bitcoin being circulated daily in block subsidies. It's going to get cut. I think right now, if my math is correct and I remember, it's like $9.90 a day. So we'll get cut down to about $400 a day, which means that the supply is becoming more scarce. It's going to officially be the hardest money, or synthetic money, however you want to frame this, in the world. Roughly, gold is around 2% a year. Inflation rate, we're roughly around that right now. With Bitcoin, yes, it's lower than that. And now it's going to get cut in half. So what's this mean? Less supply with more demand equals number has to respond. And as we're saying, we might be seeing some bloodbath in regards to the miners right now. So I think we will see some fireworks, guys. But for you guys at home, what's it mean? It means stack sats. Continue to stack sats. We might get a buying opportunity, but either way, I think in the next 12 to 18 months, this is the cheapest Bitcoin will ever be. So do not take your foot off the gas. We know one thing, number will go up. It's mathematically, algorithmically defined at this point. So, hey, for you guys out there, Don't complicate this. It just means less Bitcoins coming out on the market. And usually 12 to 18 months after the halving, the price starts to run. So it looks like we might be in for a year of nothing but green candles, boys and girls. So just absolutely love to see it. Man, it feels good. It's so much better being on a Bitcoin halving. And life's so much better on the Bitcoin halving. Anyway, so what's your thoughts on this?
Life is so much better on a bull year.
Wait, how's this comment, Top Roller? So half the price and every wallet gets halved? What? No.
Oh, man. It would be interesting to see how much exposure has changed from previous years to this one, because as we know, the ETF has been huge in getting people exposed to Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin for the first time, even though it's not really Bitcoin. Still, it's getting people to even just like understand what the halving is and be interested in what it is, because they never really gave a shit before, because their financial advisor never put it on the table. I wonder why. It's still not, the greatest, they're not really incentivized to do it, but they have to, because that's, where the financial institutions are going. But either way, it's interesting. It would be interesting to know how that exposure is going to change the price immediately after, because we're all expecting a little bit of a dip, which I'm expecting a little bit of a dip. I hope it does, so that I can stack more sats. It would just be interesting to see how the exposure now has changed, what that could potentially mean after the halving. But it doesn't really matter. The price doesn't really matter. All we know is that it's going up forever, Laura. And whether it dips 10% or it goes up, you just have to keep buying Bitcoin. My mom's in the chat, guys. She's saying that my grandma's even buying Bitcoin. So if your grandma isn't buying Bitcoin, I don't know what to tell you. Mine is cooler than yours.
Let's go. Yeah. And just to, I guess, to clarify, when some hack says, maybe I misspoke a little bit. So the existing Bitcoin doesn't change, just the amount of new Bitcoin being created. This is exactly on point. And then there's one more comment here that I do want to touch on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. BTC Believer goes, oh wait, wrong one. It was, this one, just less reward for the work. Yes. So there's going to be less Bitcoin being released daily and more supply, which means literally the price has to go up. And this is why, as Bitcoiners, we always say, and we got the sailor meme here of it's going up forever. This is Bitcoin economics playing out in real time. This is why you want to hodl. This is why you don't want to trade Bitcoin, because no one really knows what's going on with the price. If you end up trying to trade your Bitcoin, you might end up with less Bitcoin. So the name of the game is accumulation. The name of the game is Hungry Hippo with Bitcoin. This is going to be probably the last great buying opportunity for you guys out there. So you want to continue to stack them sats, guys. Just continue to stack sats, continue to take Bitcoin into custody. And this is how you win, guys. This is literally, it's this easy. It don't complicate things. And I'll talk about that in the culture, what's the best way to take your Bitcoin into custody. But until then, guys, let's get into the news. Let's talk about El Salvador for a little bit.
Wait. There's someone in the chat. So if I'm literally a grandpa in this chat stacking sats, also, is your grandma single yet? Yes, she is. She only speaks Spanish though. So
oh man.
My mom was literally on a show with my grandmother called I Want to Marry My Mother. So we're looking.
Interesting. All right, boys. So I guess I'm not the only one with the guilt fetish.
Even the boomer Bitcoiners are going to be getting girlfriends.
Oh my goodness. Your girlfriend's going to get a girlfriend. That's where we're going here, guys. Oh my God. All right, one last comment and then let's get to the news. So Andrew Williams goes, I would expect the hash rate to drop a little and the mempool to get bigger, then slowly reach an equilibrium. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what's most likely going to happen. But also, there is a lot of things happening on block 840,000. So I don't know if you guys have been following on Twitter, but apparently they're going to do some inscriptions, ordinals saying about the first sat from the new epoch. I think they call it rare epic sats or something like that. So there might be some contention in regards to that first block. And then I'm not fully aware of what this is, but I've been hearing some hints. They're going to activate something called runes, which is basically some degen shit shitcoinery on top of Bitcoin. So the first block might get very interesting. We might see some interesting happen on that 840,000 block, which means we might be seeing some incredibly high fees on that block. But yeah, we'll find an equilibrium, guys. Don't freak out. Bitcoin's going to work exactly as designed. It's a feature, not a bug. But on that note, let's get into the news.
The Daily News.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation Devices. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US. It's fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a simple feature phone. So you will know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes. Experience the peace of mind that comes with taking ownership of your own keys. After a massive sellout during Bitcoin Miami 2023, the Passport is back in stock at foundationdevices.com. Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, completely air-gapped security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. If you're thinking about getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, this is the one for you. Check out the Passport link in the show notes below to learn more.
Alexi's in the chat.
Yo!
Dude, I thought you left. I thought you were leaving.
I had to go get my beard cut and stuff. But anyways, guys, get yourself a Passport by Foundation Devices. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. You want to take self-custody. Has Snake on it, completely open source, absolutely beautiful. It pairs with the Envoy app, and it's extremely easy to use.
You look so good. You look so good. I'm dead.
Yo, I love the guest appearance ad read. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not gonna troll Nico live any more than I have.
On the news?
Yeah, we're on the news. We're on the news.
Yo.
All right, guys. Anyways, Sophie, the chat is losing it right now for that comment. So maybe go check out the chat. They're getting they're going ham in the chat. Anyways, guys, let's cover the news today. So we had this big announcement coming out of El Salvador. Nayib Bukele tweeted this. This was April 16th at 9 p.m. He basically, there's a video here, but here actually I'll play this without the sound so you guys can kind of see it. But Google officially inaugurates its offices in El Salvador. There's a speech here. I really like this building. It looks beautiful. I honestly, I think objectively a good building with the big Google sign over there. And I think this really goes to show what I said in the beginning. We talk about this constantly in regards to the incentives of Bitcoin, the incentives of entrepreneurship, the incentives of a government treating its citizens correctly and incentivizing business. And we're seeing that Google finally gives a nod to El Salvador. And now they're inaugurating an office in El Salvador. And it's absolutely beautiful. And you just love to see that. Look, El Salvador is a tiny country, and they're attracting entrepreneurs to their country. And they really are the shining city on the hill. They are really, I think, proving to the world that there is an alternative way. And if you do things well, then people will want to go there. Anyways, I got the tweet, the official announcement from Google Spanish. She goes, "Hello, El Salvador. We are excited to announce the opening of a new office in San Salvador. We are excited to be part of this journey and contribute to the digital transformation of the country. This way, we will work together to create a better future for everyone. In alliance with civil society organizations, Google will provide technical and financial support of $200,000 to startups in El Salvador in order to provide them with the tools they need to start and boost the growth of their business. We welcome you to Growth Digital LA as our new media sales representatives in El Salvador, who will provide local support, strategic advice, optimization recommendations, and specialized training in the country. As part of this agreement signed in 2023 between Google Cloud and the government of El Salvador, we have made progress in the creation of simplified and automated digital ecosystem that transform areas such as import, export, health, and more. The development of a telemedicine platform that takes advantage of the generative AI to make medical care more accessible for Salvadorians, and providing students and training public school teachers in Google Workspace for education. These are just our first steps in El Salvador to contribute to the digital transformation, not only of the country, but of the region. So, as we have here, this is Diputado de Asambleas of El Salvador, William Soriano, and he goes, El Salvador has become Google's first technology hub for Central America. Welcome. It's it's absolutely awesome to see. You know, El Salvador put itself on the map when it made Bitcoin legal tender. There's been a lot of contention about them cleaning up the streets. It's becoming the safest country in all of the Americas. And now they're attracting some of the biggest tech companies to their little country. And you just love to see it. And I know what Bitcoiners are going to say, you know, like it's Google. Don't trust Google. They might be part of the problem. But you just love to see that even they are incentivized to give a nod to El Salvador and be like, okay, there's actually something going on here. Will it last? Only time will tell. But it is, I think, signal to the idea that we talk about here all the time, the sovereign individual thesis. If your government treats you well, it will attract capital, it will attract entrepreneurs, it will attract businesses. And if you contrast that to what we're seeing in the UK or the US, where they're literally doing the opposite, where they are stopping entrepreneurs, they're hampering businesses, they're trying to control capital, and people are, you know, looking to move. And you're seeing that happen in real time. But I really want to jump on this right here. And we've talked about this in the past. I'm over here on tradingeconomics.com and just talk about the GDP of El Salvador. In 2022, it was 32.49 billion. Now it's roughly around 33.14 billion. And they're attracting Google, one of the biggest companies in the world. Here's Alphabet Inc., their stock, the mother company of Google. It has a market cap of $1.96 trillion. It's bigger than Bitcoin is currently today. And they're looking at a tiny country and they're like, yeah, like we're going to incorporate there. We're going to set up shop in El Salvador. We're going to bring innovation to Central America. And again, you guys can fight it all you want, but you just love to see that the incentives stay pure. And if the incentives stay pure in your country, then you will attract capital. You will attract businesses. You will attract entrepreneurs. And El Salvador is really a blueprint for what's going on in the world. Hence why we see so much hate spewed at El Salvador, because they're afraid of what is going on in El Salvador. But this really makes you think, and we are a Bitcoin show after all. What exactly is Google's playbook here? Are they trying to, you know, add intelligence agencies down in El Salvador and control the things? I don't know. You can get tinfoil hat all you want. Are they giving a nod to El Salvador of the fact that they went on a Bitcoin standard? Are they just seeing the innovation? They're seeing the entrepreneurship. They're seeing the business attraction to El Salvador and wanting to be a part of that. Who really knows? But there was some signal out there from Max Kaiser. And you can see Alphabet Inc. over here. You know, they got total assets of $402 million. That's what they're holding, its total assets. And, you know, you got Kaiser over here. He's like, welcome to Bitcoin country, Google. No shit coins allowed. I see you have a lot of trashy fiat money on your balance sheet. You realize all this garbage goes to zero against Bitcoin, right? And so I Googled this a little bit. I'm on macrotrends.net, and you can see that as of December 31st, 2023, Google has $110 billion in cash with a 2.5% decline year over year. So again, I can't do math. I can't do quick math, but losing 2.5% of $110 billion is a sizable chunk of money that they are losing in purchasing power. So it just goes to show, what exactly is their intentions here? Are they trying to just get some foothold in Central America? They're trying to innovate, as they were saying, you know, transform El Salvador digitally. They're trying to add education. I think I saw in that video that Nayib Bukele was saying that every kid now has a Google iPad, a Google computer to improve education. They want to improve the healthcare. They want to add and update the infrastructure down there. So it is, I think, on the one hand, a beautiful development to the idea that if you are an entrepreneur or country, if you can attract capital, if you can attract business, and you can build a country with the right incentives, that you will attract the richest people in the world. And here we are. Yes, the El Salvador, it's a recent development. Who knows if this is going to have foothold? Who knows how long El Salvador can continue to innovate? But the more tech companies that get attracted to Bitcoin, the more you will see that they will be on track to becoming the tech hub of Central America. And again, let's not forget, El Salvador's GDP is $32 billion. Like, Elon Musk could buy El Salvador like 6 times over. Google could buy El Salvador a few times over, but they want to align with El Salvador and what they're building, which I think just goes to show, which a lot of the things we talk about here, when you have a strong leader, when you have a leader with vision, when you have a country that wants to incentivize production and entrepreneurship, good things come out of that. And we've been talking about that constantly on this show, that the incentives right now, the way you see them in America, it's starting to hamper the not only the individual, but the country. And you want to attract entrepreneurs. This is why Nico always says constantly, like, oh, we might have to leave America, when I'm like, we're never leaving America. I don't know what you're talking about. America's still the best country in the world as far as I'm concerned. It's still the richest country in the world. But everyone is seeing the same thing. If you are holding cash, you are losing value. And imagine being Google right now. You are incorporating in El Salvador. There's got to, at the very least, be some conversations about the Bitcoin standard. Maybe it's a flippant conversation, but it's on their radar. And hey, if Google takes a percentage of their cash balance, goes into Bitcoin, not only will their cash balance improve, but that will also be one of those maturing moments in Bitcoin. It will be another nod to Bitcoin. Again, we don't necessarily need all these tech investors. We don't really need Wall Street to come into Bitcoin, but it will go a long way to the normie mind out there that, oh, wow, Bitcoin maybe is a mature asset. Maybe it is something I need to buy. Maybe it is something I need to hold on my balance sheet. And slowly but surely, we will get to the point where everyone and their mother starts to use Bitcoin. We're almost there. Sophie's already on this. So anyway, Soph, what's your thoughts? And then I think I might look at some chats here.
On one hand, I think it's kind of sad that it takes a company like Google, who has invaded all of our privacies and sold our data to the government, et cetera, that it takes a company like that powerful to incentivize the normies to buy Bitcoin. And unfortunately, that is the truth. Companies like this legitimize Bitcoin to the average individual. To everybody else that has been stacking Bitcoin, it's like kind of sus, because it's Google. It's somebody who, again, has invaded your privacy, who hasn't done right by you. But as Align said in the chat, does Bitcoin fix Google? Does Bitcoin fix the incentives that Google has? Is Google trying to get orange pilled? Or did they get orange pilled? Is that the real reason that they're in El Salvador? Personally, I think that Google sees an opportunity for El Salvador to be the next Silicon Valley in Central America. Maybe they're trying to bring other tech companies into El Salvador, and they just want to have the first footing in El Salvador. So it could be a multitude of reasons. It could be the fact that El Salvador has become the safest country in Central America. But one thing for sure is that Bitcoin is somewhere in the fold, and maybe Bitcoin is the thing that changes Bitcoin for the better.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they used to have, and maybe I'm mixing up the tech company, but didn't they used to have the meme company memo of don't do evil, and then they seemingly have gone evil, but maybe they're pulling back now? They
said don't do evil until the government pays us a lot of money or threatens to shut us down. We don't really know what the story is behind that, but one thing we can know for sure is that maybe going to a new country that has a Bitcoin standard will change all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the biggest thing for us as Bitcoiners. Yes, you guys, we can all probably agree that Google's done a lot of bad things, and maybe Google isn't a good thing moving down there, but they have just given El Salvador a nod. They are a Bitcoinized country. They are an entrepreneur-based country. They have a strong leader. So the fact that they're giving Nayib Bukele and El Salvador a nod here and actually going to because they could have picked any Central American country in the world. Like, they could have gone anywhere, but they chose a Bitcoin country. Yeah, exactly. They chose the Bitcoin country to go incorporate. So I think,
like I said, we don't know the full story here.
Yeah.
We don't know the full story. Maybe they've been cucked by the government this entire time. And this is their way out. They're saying, okay, let's just go to El Salvador and escape the hold of the federal government so that we can start again and go back to our roots of not doing evil. That could be the thing. You never know. And maybe by being on a Bitcoin standard and not relying so much on the dollar, they're able to become the thing that they once were.
Well, you can hope. A boy can still hope. I
have a lot of hopium. This Bitcoin bull market has me just so optimistic about life.
Man. All right. Well, we have a few comments. Let's read a few comments here. So NN says, you know what Google did to Ireland? I am not totally familiar. So drop it in the chat and we'll hopefully cover it. Loco TX goes, Google coin incoming. Oof. Lightning go. It's Bitcoin going to flip Google soon. This is undeniable. Bitcoin will flip Google soon. And we got FZ Hard Acre. It goes, Google and Bitcoin do not go together. Hey, Bitcoin's for enemies. We will see what happened. I like this one, multi-sacker. Google got orange pilled. I think, of course, we're speculating here, but I think that might be the case a little bit. They're definitely seeing what's going on in El Salvador. And so, guys, maybe over under, how long until Google announces Bitcoin on their balance sheet? And like Sophie was saying, super hopeful. Maybe they are trying to pull things back. I am seeing this pendulum happening right now where, the go woke, go broke meme is happening and people are trying to pull it back and understand that, hey, maybe this libertarian entrepreneur, anarcho-capitalist stuff, maybe it's more profitable. Maybe it's more beneficial for my citizens, but hey, or my customers.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win situation because if they give into their financial incentives in this particular case, because it's Bitcoin, it actually also kind of gives into the moral incentives, right? Because if they're making money by going to a country that is on a Bitcoin standard, Bitcoiners are going to expect privacy. Bitcoiners are going to expect this company to cater to them. And eventually, all tech companies, all companies in the world are going to have to align themselves with those incentives. And that's how Bitcoin fixes things at the very root, because now the consumer's power is that much more. As someone said, that life gets cheaper on a Bitcoin standard, right? So if life gets cheaper, you're also less likely to, spend your money on things that are frivolous and not good for you. And so Google and other companies will be forced to change.
100%. All right. There is a few comments before I get into self-custody and culture today. But I like this. Win some hacks. It goes, El Salvador has been the lighthouse for South American countries. Get the IMF and the US dollar off their back and they grow. It's almost like they're a parasite and they're blood sucking their citizens. I mean, I'm just speculating here. I don't know what's going on here, guys. But how about this one, Elaine? Maybe they will change their tagline back to "Don't be evil" to "Buy Bitcoin." Yes, this is the one. All right, and last one. Win some, he goes, even if Bitcoin isn't the reason for the move, it has contributed to the success of El Salvador, and Google will have to work in a Bitcoin environment by law. This is the signal, guys. This is why we're talking about it. And of course, we can all speculate about who's going to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, but this is the signal here. They have moved to a Bitcoin country and now they have to work within a Bitcoin country's laws. And so we'll see, man. We'll see how this goes. We'll see what actually happens. But as Visnock said, Google now answers to Bitcoin. You just love to see it, guys. It really goes to what we say here constantly. Incentives rule the world, and Bitcoin's incentives are pure. And if you allow a country to flourish in a seemingly free market, well, you're going to attract capital. You're going to attract businesses. You're going to attract entrepreneurs. And this is the standard that Bitcoin is unleashing on the world. Hopefully you guys caught Jeff Booth last night on the IRL. And if you guys haven't caught it yet, go watch it. It's a very hopeful rip. Nico got off all giddy. He's like, man, dude, we're going to win so hard. Like the future is so bright. And it really just goes to show what we keep telling you guys constantly, man. Fiat world, clown world, however you want to call it. It is a world full of nihilism, pessimism. It's not a good world. Go talk to your normie friends right now. Everyone's losing their minds about the current thing. And all of us Bitcoiners are like, hey, guys, just join us. Like, life's so much better. Isn't it better when your net worth goes up? Isn't it better when you transact voluntarily, consensually with other humans? It connects the world, and we're seeing that happen in real time. The world has never been more interconnected. And as soon as we can eliminate the middlemen, the trusted third parties in the middle, and value can flow freely. Ideas can flow freely throughout planet Earth. The world's going to improve. And this is what we constantly talk about here. This is what we constantly try to push on you guys. There is hope at the end of the tunnel, guys. And it starts with stacking sats, staying humble, providing value to your fellow man, and things will go up. Life is great on a Bitcoin standard. Oh, man, we're going to... Christine's in the chat already. Oh, man. Okay, guys, let's go to the culture because I got a good comment here during yesterday's show. So we're going to cover some basics for you guys.
The Daily Culture.
All right, boys and girls, you already know.
Smash the like button. If you're enjoying the show, smash the like button. We only have 100 likes. Those are rookie numbers. Let's get it to 150 likes.
Guys, I'm going to get fired if I don't have 100 likes.
Oh, well, we broke the 100 likes before the first hour, so it's all good. It's all good. But yes, guys, like the show. If you think we provide value, if you enjoy the entertainment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But before we get into the culture today, make sure you go to orangepilleapp.com. Stack friends who stack sats. There's good meetups there. Get in touch with other Bitcoiners. Network with other Bitcoiners. If you're in a new country and you want to hang out with like-minded people, download the Orange Pill app and hit people up. See who's around you. Maybe get a coffee. Maybe get some steak. Whatever it is you're into, there are Bitcoiners all around the world on the Orange Pill app. And of course, join the Simply Bitcoin Orange Pill app group. The link is in the description. And Nico and I, we appreciate all the love, guys. And you know, I'm kind of bad at it, but we do our best of reaching out to every single person that hits us up. So I might have a delay, but if you message me, we're going to talk to you. We're going to get back to you. A lot of good conversations in there. Appreciate all the love, guys. And then next, of course, go to Kaboom Racks. Kaboom Racks. The best place to buy, sell, and host your Bitcoin ASICs. If you are on the fence, whether you should buy ASICs, whether you should get into Bitcoin mining, get in touch with the Kaboom Racks team. They have a great white glove service. They'll talk to you about all of the incentives, all of the options, whether it's a good time to get into Bitcoin mining. Actually, a little tea here for you guys. I was talking again, like I said, my boy Alex from Kaboom Racks, and he was basically saying, dude, might be some blood on the streets in the next couple of weeks. So it might be a good time to pick up some ASICs. Not right now, but in the next couple of weeks. So if you've been on the fence, you might be able to pick up some cheap ASICs. I think we're going to see some fireworks. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with some of these big miners. I think, you know, even Bob Burnett was saying it at BitBlock Boom that we might see some miners going down, guys. So this is a very interesting time for Bitcoin. We are leaving the third epoch, entering the fourth epoch. Bitcoin scarcity is going down. Hash rate's going to go up. We're going to see what happens with the miners out there. So it's going to get very interesting. So if you're on the fence, get in touch with the Kaboom Racks team, and they will walk you through all of that. There are the boys out there. Okay. On that note, guys, I do this bit all the time. We are getting new viewers on the show, so I love to try to catch people up. I love getting people up to speed. Not only do we bring on cool people on this show, but sometimes I go into the nitty-gritty, the weeds here, so that you guys can get up to speed, so you guys can feel better about taking your Bitcoin into custody, because as we say all the time, self-custody is the revolution. Anyways, we got this comment on YouTube. This was, I got this in our Slack. I believe it was last night. So the last couple of days we have, and forgive me for butchering your name, bro, but we have at F Pass Cavacious, F Pas Cavacious, or F Pasky Vicious. I don't know, bro. Sorry. But a listener. And he goes, after months of listening to the show on a daily basis on Spotify, today for the first time, I decided to watch the show on YouTube and put a face on you guys, Nico and Opti. I had no idea what you guys look like. I pictured Opti as a long-haired, chill-looking type of guy. I'm sorry to disappoint, but you're not too far off. Don't stop doing what you do. There are people definitely listening. And this is what we're going to talk about today right here. And it's like, I would like you guys to talk more about self-custody. I know you do, but still sounds intimidating like it is for someone else. Get Natalie Burnell on the show as well. All right, so on today's show, we're going to talk about self-custody. And I've done this bit a few times. I've updated it. I even have some physical hardware wallets for you guys here. And just to touch on the first point, guys, it is intimidating your first time. Like, I can remember my first time when I took Bitcoin into custody. I had bought, I know you guys are going to throw tomatoes, but I had bought $100 on Coinbase. This was 2017. Forgive me, guys. Forgive me for my sins. And I can vividly remember the first time I took Bitcoin into custody. It was late at night. I didn't have the lights on, so maybe that made it a little more ominous. I was just like, on my computer watching Andres Antonopoulos, and there's like, you got to take your Bitcoin into custody. You can't leave your Bitcoin on an exchange. And I remember when I sent it, I barely knew anything. And I made a wallet. I sent it to my wallet from the exchange, and my heart starts beating. I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm going to lose my $100 if I don't do this correctly. Again, there is no rewind. There is no telephone to call if you mess up. This is why when you first learn how to do this, I highly recommend you take this process slow. Again, don't be drinking when you do your first seed backup. Like, you should do this in a clear mind so that you can get your Bitcoin back. But it is a little intimidating when you first get into Bitcoin. But after the first one, if you can send an email, if you can remember a telephone number, then you can take custody of your Bitcoin. But before I get into my blueprint, I got to touch on the Bitcoin white paper. It was literally the first sentence of the Bitcoin white paper in the abstract. It's the first sentence of the first paragraph of the Bitcoin white paper. So I got to highlight it. So Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system by Satoshi Nakamoto, October 31st, 2008. Abstract, a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly. Again, be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. This is what it's all about. Peer-to-peer payments. There, you become your own bank. There is no one you can go to if you mess up. And Satoshi wrote this. It literally the first sentence. And then in the introduction, commerce on the internet has come to rely almost exclusively on financial institutions serving as trusted third parties to process electronic payments. While the system works well enough for most transactions, it still suffers from the inherent weakness of the trust-based model. And this is what we're fixing. Yes, if you're buying your Bitcoin on an exchange, you are trusting that you are first and foremost buying actual Bitcoin from them. And then if you leave it there, you're trusting that they're going to hold your Bitcoin. But one lesson that all of us Bitcoiners have learned throughout this whole process is you cannot leave your Bitcoin on an exchange. You do not want to leave your Bitcoin on an exchange. If you do it, just know there's a possibility of you never actually taking that Bitcoin into custody. So this is why we tell you guys all the time, the most important aspect besides getting off zero is taking Bitcoin into custody. And we don't need you guys to yell at me about the fact that high net worth individuals don't want to take their assets into custody. I get it. But for the average person out there, for the person that wants to take Bitcoin into custody, yes, your first transaction might be intimidating, but after a couple, it becomes second nature, and it's easier than sending Zelle. Like, have you guys walked into a bank recently? Have you guys tried to open a bank account?
Yes, it was terrible.
It was absolutely horrible. It's way harder than taking Bitcoin into custody. You literally, all you have to do is download a wallet on your phone and you take Bitcoin into custody. But anyways, let's get into the nitty gritty here. Let's get into some of the best practices, the framework that I use when I download a new wallet and I send Bitcoin to it. I would say that some of these processes are a must. You have to do this because you want to make sure that you do this process correctly. Take your time on this process. Do not rush through this. After a while, if you're a pro, then you can adjust this all you want. But if you're a noob, I would highly suggest that you take like a Saturday afternoon, take a couple of hours and do this process correctly. And again, this is a progression. As much as I'm a maxi Bitcoiner and I try to get people to 0 to 60 and as fast as possible, I've learned that it's a process, guys. Don't go too hard on people about, oh, you need to do it this way or else you're not a real Bitcoiner, bro. Like, yeah, I get it. I think this is a process where you go from, not holding custody of any of your money to finally being completely sovereign and holding all of your Bitcoin yourself, running a node, all that good stuff. But I'm going to just touch on the self-custody aspect. And again, this is a progression. So first and foremost, as I like to always say, and you guys could correct me all you want, but usually I think the best way for people to get their Bitcoin into custody is by simply downloading a mobile wallet on their phone. You know, we all have smartphones, and it's very simple to just download a mobile wallet. But hey, maybe you want to download a desktop wallet. Maybe you want to do that on your laptop. Again, there's a lot of caveats here. There's a lot of trade-offs. I'd highly recommend, if you do download a desktop wallet, that you probably don't use your daily driver. Like, don't use the laptop you use to watch all those naughty websites that you're watching, because people can hack your computer. So usually I like to think of this as a progression. It's mobile wallets to a desktop wallet to a hardware wallet, and then you can connect your desktop wallet with your hardware wallet and go multi-sig or passwords. Again, I'm not trying to confuse you here. Usually, just download a mobile wallet on your phone, and then most wallets, before you're able even to send a transaction, receive a transaction, you're going to have to write down your seed on paper. And again, guys, make sure this never hits the internet. So do not screenshot your seed. Do not let your seed phrase go to the cloud. Avoid cameras. Avoid saying them out loud, because you never know who's listening. Keep it private, guys. And of course, you know, eventually get your seed phrase off a piece of paper and on something like titanium, like, stamp seed. But I don't want to complicate this. But just remember, he who knows the seed controls the Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, possession is 10/10 of the law. So if they know your seed, they can send your Bitcoin. And we've seen so many people get wrecked throughout the 15 years of Bitcoin that the best practices are: get a piece of paper, write it down, make sure it's in pen, make sure that if you're going to...
piece of paper, get some stamp seeds.
Yes, I know. But I'm trying to minimize the obstacles that people have to get to self-custody. So usually, first step, download a mobile wallet, write it down on a piece of paper. The final steps is get yourself a hardware wallet, a stamp seed. So if your house does burn down, your seed phrase is still there. And as you can see, first is paper seed, and then it's titanium seed. And that's what you need to do. You want to make sure that your backups are correctly. Write down your seed phrase. Make sure, if you want to, you can memorize them. But you need to download a wallet. Mobile wallets are a good place to start. Eventually, you want to get to a hardware wallet so you are the most secure. It depends on how paranoid you are. I'm super paranoid. But a good advice here is, whatever amount of money you put into Bitcoin today, 10x that. And that should be your judge for how paranoid you should be about custodying your Bitcoin. So, if you're downloading $100, you bought $100, you're putting it to your wallet. Maybe if that's all you got, a mobile wallet is fine. I've done worse, where I've kept an inordinate amount of Bitcoin in a mobile wallet, but finally you end up going to a hardware wallet. So once you have your seed phrase written down, either on a piece of paper or stamped into titanium, I think this might be the most important step that most people miss. Do a test transaction from your exchange. Send a small amount of Bitcoin, $10, $5, whatever is small to you, whatever portion of your actual holdings that you have on exchange. Send a test transaction to your wallet. And once you receive it, what you want to do is make sure your seed phrase is backed up, wipe your wallet. And you're like, wait, why would I wipe my wallet? Because then I lost my Bitcoin. Well, no, your Bitcoin doesn't actually live in your wallet. It's just your keys to get into the wallet. So what you want to do is do a small test transaction, wipe the wallet, and then reload that seed phrase into your wallet so you can retrieve your funds. And what this ensures is that if for whatever reason you lose the wallet on your phone, or your hardware wallet gets corrupted or whatever, you have the seed phrase. And remember to write down your password if you're going that route, so that you can get back into your wallet. And if you do this on multiple wallet infrastructure, like if you do this on Blue Wallet and Green Wallet or something like that, and you finally get back into your Bitcoin, that's usually when the light bulb moment comes up. Then you're like, oh my God, like my Bitcoin doesn't actually live in my wallet. I just have access to that Bitcoin. And once you retrieve your funds, again, you write down your seed phrase, do a test transaction, wipe the wallet, retrieve those funds. And once you get back into that wallet, then either you can, send that out to a new wallet or just send all of your Bitcoin to that wallet. And every time you create a new wallet, I would highly suggest that you do that same process. Write down your seed phrase, send a test transaction, wipe the wallet so that you can further retrieve that wallet, retrieve those funds, retrieve access to those UTXOs, and then finally send all your Bitcoin. And if you do that process, then you can start to relieve in your own mind that, okay, I know my backups are secure. I know I can access this Bitcoin if everything goes wrong. And then you can finally send your whole chunk to a Bitcoin wallet of your choice. Now, I do have some wallets here because, people love to give options. And before I go into all the options, guys, I don't want to give you, the paralysis of analysis. I'm giving you a bunch of options that I've tried, that I love, that I use constantly. And there are a lot of options out there. So if I right now don't say the wallet, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad wallet. It just means I haven't actually used it. And maybe, the meme of if it had shitcoins on it, then probably avoid it at all costs. So these are all Bitcoin only wallets. And I have them broken down in all different categories. So on your mobile phone, I absolutely love Blue Wallet. It's an on-chain wallet. They sunsetted their Lightning wallet, but the first mobile wallets are simply on-chain. So I would highly recommend this for, like bigger chunks of Bitcoin. Connect that to your phone. So on-chain wallets, we got Blue Wallet. We have Envoy Wallet, which is our sponsor. Passport. Our foundation with Passport is beautiful. And then Green Wallet, and the new one that I've been trying out, BitKit. I really love it. I haven't really used it too much, but on-chain wallets, Blue Wallet, Envoy, Green Wallet, BitKit. And then Lightning wallets. My boys over at Mutiny are creating an awesome wallet. Phoenix is kind of becoming my new daily Lightning driver. There's Zeus. Shouts out to the boys over at Zeus. You can connect your own node to it. And these three, Mutiny, Phoenix, and Zeus, they're all non-custodial Lightning wallets. And then there's Breeze. Breeze is kind of a runner-up. They were doing really good things for a while. Now I kind of always show Phoenix or Mutiny. To me, Mutiny and Phoenix, I think, is where wallets are going. If you're out of the US, then hey, you guys can throw tomatoes, but Wallet Satoshi is great. It just works. Sorry guys, it just works, and that's what most people want, is just a wallet that works. So, and then the recent one is Primal. Yes, it's connected to Nostr. Yes, it's a social media app, but they have a pretty good Lightning wallet in it, guys. So if you want to kind of go that route and dip your toes into Nostr, then you can have a Lightning wallet connected to it. So again, on your mobile phone, I highly recommend Blue Wallet. That's probably been my daily driver on my phone for like 2 to 3 years now. I love Blue Wallet. I really am starting to love Envoy, especially when you connect it with Passport. It's so easy. I absolutely love it. Green Wallet's been around for a long time. I have a lot of friends using Green Wallet. And then Mutiny and Phoenix, those are the wallets I'm using right now. Blue Wallet, Envoy, Mutiny, and Phoenix. And I do use Green Wallet every once in a while. So those are the mobile wallets, guys. Usually first step is like, all right, full disclosure. Usually first step, I just be like, all right, bro, just download Blue Wallet. Send your Bitcoin there. I run them through the process. Blue Wallet works. I love Blue Wallet. It's become my wallet of choice on my phone. I use it to this day. I use it basically every single day. And then on desktop, again, there's a lot of different wallets, but I absolutely love Sparrow. I'm kind of a Sparrow maxi. I think Sparrow is the best desktop wallet right now. And if you haven't used it, I highly recommend you use it. It'll download Bitcoin Core. It has a lot of functionality on top with Sparrow. It's an advanced wallet, guys. So if you're a noob, maybe you want to dip your toes in Sparrow because there's a lot of functionality with Sparrow, but I absolutely love Sparrow. I'm a Sparrow maxi. And then there's Spectre. Spectre's a great wallet as well, but again, I love Sparrow. I'm just a Sparrow maxi. I think it's the best. I think that's like the pinnacle of desktop wallets. And Nico's an Electrum junkie. When you've been around for a while, you don't really want to change things. You use Electrum. Electrum's on a lot of these plug and play nodes. So again, just because I'm not naming them doesn't mean that they're not used. Oh, look, let me actually add Bitcoin Core. You should download Bitcoin Core at least once, guys. If you really want to be a hardcore Bitcoiner, if you really want to go through the initiation process of being a Bitcoiner, just download Bitcoin Core. See what this is about. They're continuing to update. See what the initial software is that started this whole thing. It's Bitcoin Core. Those are the desktop wallets that I highly recommend. Again, I'm kind of a Sparrow maxi, which is basically Bitcoin Core with Sparrow and some other usability added on top of it. So if you want to go the desktop route, again, I highly recommend that you don't just use your daily driver. My boy Skeef, he's always like, just buy a ThinkPad. It's, super cheap, and you'll have a great hardware wallet with Sparrow and Bitcoin Core. But again, this is progression, guys. So first and foremost, I'd say get a mobile wallet. But I do have my hardware wallets here, guys. Of course, Passport. We absolutely love Passport. It's so easy. It's beautiful. I'm becoming a huge Passport fan. And it's not just because they're a sponsor, just because I've used it and it's so easy. I did a setup the other day before I went to El Salvador. Like I said, I had way too much Bitcoin on my phone, and I felt a little iffy going to El Salvador with that much Bitcoin on my phone. So I set up a new wallet with Passport and Envoy, and it's so easy. And I know someone yesterday was saying they had some issues. I didn't get those issues. It's so easy to me. Sparrow or Passport and Envoy. It's opti proof. It's stupid proof here. But one of my other honorary mentions is Seed Signer. I love the Seed Signer project. They're super cool. These are great off the shelf. I have a 3D printed case for them. You build it yourself. If you want to feel a little more technical, if you want to do a little DIY project with your family or your kids, or maybe just with your friends, you build yourself a Seed Signer. They're absolutely cool. I really love Seed Signer. They're really the unsung heroes, I think, in the Bitcoin process. And again, there's trade-offs to all of this. And then, of course, probably the standard right now, the Bitcoin Maxi's favorite wallet is the Cold Card. I don't have the Q yet, but Cold Card, I love this is the MK4, I think, or maybe this is the 3. No, actually, this is the old one. This is a Mark II. Wow, old school. I have the 3, I think, in somewhere locked up. And you guys can also do Jade. Jade's great for the price point. Literally for the price point, I think these are $50 still. This one's great. And of course, I got the awesome translucent green one, which is probably invisible right now for you guys. But here, let me show you guys a little more. What's going on here? Is it? Yeah, it's invisible. Okay, this is actually Nintendo green. I love the Jade. You hook it up with green. I've been using that for a while to move some funds around. I absolutely still use this to this day. And as you guys can see, I was small screen. You can use all of these together if you want to. If you don't trust any single company, you can use these all together and get yourself a multi-sig setup. Or really, again, I'm trying to minimize the hoops that you have to jump through, but maybe just buy them all. Buy them all, use them, see which ones you like the most. And I do have an honorable mention here. And I haven't used this yet, guys, but I think I'm going to buy one as soon as possible, is the BitKey by Jack Dorsey. I've been hearing really good things about it. I haven't actually used it myself, but the user flow, the user experience I hear is absolutely incredible. So I think I'm going to buy a BitKey soon, and I'll let you guys know what I think about it. And all these other ones, everything I named here besides the BitKey, I've used, I still use to this day. I highly recommend these. But again, try them yourself. Maybe you like one feature over another. Maybe you would like one workflow user experience over another. But these are the wallets that I recommend. These are the wallets that I usually recommend to friends. Right now, if I had to give you like my dwindled checklist, it's Blue Wallet, Mutiny and Phoenix, Sparrow, and of course Passport, just because it's so easy, man. Like, not everyone's a cypherpunk, and these are opti proof. So, but also they're all in different price points. So if you are trying to minimize the obstacles to buy yourself a hardware wallet, and then, Seed Signer and Jade are at the cheapest price point, highly secured, open source. Or if you really want to get cypherpunk, a Cold Card, or If you want to be cypherpunk, but also have just a cool user experience, Passport with Envoy is absolutely beautiful. I'm highly recommending the Passport with Envoy. And again, that's not just because they pay us and they're a sponsor. It's just because it works so easy. I literally was sitting there and I texted Nico. I was like, bro, the Passport with the Envoy is so easy. Like, I absolutely love it. And man, so there is a lot of options, but just download Blue Wallet on your phone if there's the first steps. Back it up, do a test transaction, get back into that wallet, and then move towards getting yourself a hardware wallet. The reason you want to have a hardware wallet is so that these are completely air gapped, that they never touch the internet, so that there's never a chance of you losing your Bitcoin. This is why you want a hardware wallet. This is why you want to invest $100 or $200 to get yourself a hardware wallet, is so that you can sleep well knowing that your Bitcoin isn't ever going to be hacked. Because throughout the time and history of Bitcoin, there's been so many hacks in Bitcoin is because people have complicated this. And that's the next PSA. Guys, do not overcomplicate this. If you're not a tech savvy dude, if you're just an average person, maybe think about not going to a multi-sig setup if you think you're going to mess up. A password, I think, is pretty simple for most people, but you're going to have to make these decisions for yourself. So I can give you the options and you're going to have to try them yourself. But before you do any of that, do not send all of your, don't just like create a Passport, with Envoy and then send all of your Bitcoin and then realize that you messed up your seed phrase. You need to do some transactions. I think it's super easy. And then on the last note, shouts out to our boy BTC Sessions. If you are getting lost, guys, go to Sessions YouTube and he'll walk you through this. If you think it's getting difficult, if you're intimidated, they'll walk you through it. But really, guys, if you can remember a number, if you sent an email, you can take your Bitcoin into self-custody. So the first one might be intimidating. You might get a little scared, but trust me, it'll become second nature. I think sending Bitcoin and using Bitcoin is easier than sending money through a bank. I am a Bitcoiner through and through. There's no way I'm going back into the legacy fiat system. I'm a Bitcoiner, and it's so simple. It's part of my life now. I save in Bitcoin. I use Bitcoin. I'm on the Bitcoin standard. I hodl my Bitcoin, but also I send Bitcoin a lot to friends, to people that I want to see succeed. So if you want some hardware wallets, you already know the deal. These are the ones I love. I think these are all the industry standards right now. I'm yet to get a BitKey, but I'm going to get one just because they look really cool. Anyways, I've realized I've been ranting a lot about this, but this is important. People want to know the self-custody route. They need to self-custody their Bitcoin. But on that note, I know Sophie's a Passport maxi at this point. She wants a bedazzled pink one at this point. But I don't know. Maybe tell the story of your self-custody journey, Soph, and then why you love Passport so much. And it's not just because they're a sponsor.
Sorry, I was muted. It's not just because they're our sponsor. Actually, way before they sponsored us, I was in love with Passport Wallet. And it's because I think it looks like a phone. It just it has a camera. It's so easy to use. So I definitely do want a bedazzled one. I want a pink one at the very least, or one that's all white or something. But my self-custody journey is that Nico sat me down one day and taught me how to self-custody Bitcoin. And actually, it goes deeper than that. This is actually the story of how I learned how to have self-custody on a cold card. We were at Pacific Bitcoin, and it was the day after the conference, and I thought it was all over. He said, we just have one more event. It's a workshop. Mind you, all of the events around the Pacific Bitcoin conference at this point were parties and dinners and whatever. And so I was sweet. I was at one of the events before the workshop, and it was BTC Sessions workshop. I hadn't met him at this point. And I didn't know about his content. I just, I was kind of there for the ride. So we were at this event. I was 2-3 glasses of wine in, and then Nico's we gotta go to this workshop. I'm sweet. I'm thinking it's a brunch or something. I don't know what a workshop
I know this
is.
story.
And so we get to this small little office co-working space, and I'm okay, interesting place to, have an after the conference event. And I go into the room and it's all like this fluorescent lighting, typical classroom setting type of thing, and everybody is on their computers, and I'm just there like, what did you just bring me to? Like, we just went from like a Malibu beach house brunch to this, like, what's about to like go down right now. Also, I'm like a little bit drunk. Like, what's happening? And so we sat there and we learned how to use a cold card. And surprisingly, to this day, Ben is this good. I still know how to use a cold card today, and I actually understood what was happening and how it actually works to send Bitcoin and have it in self-custody, what it means to sign the transaction, how multi-sig works. It was very interesting, and I'll never forget it because I was taken out of a Malibu Beach house brunch to a workshop to learn how to use the cold card.
Wow, Nico's such a Bitcoiner. Such a Bitcoiner.
He's such a, like, it's really great that like he didn't tell me what we were about to do, because I would have just been like, go by yourself.
He's like, look, babe, we got a cool date. Here, create a cold card.
Yeah, no, I thought it was gonna be fun. I thought at least there would be like drinks or something. I'd be okay, let's go. No.
Okay, actually, before we move on, though, a little bit, there is some good comments here in the chat that I do want to hit on. So, Opti, where So Backfields goes, don't forget to FUD Electrums a little bit. There's many fake versions of OS Electrum out there.
I learned about this the other day.
Careful.
You have to verify your software.
Yeah, and that's the next point he hit. And also tell them how to verify PGP key pairs too. It's slightly hard, but gives that extra safe feeling. So yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up, because I did forget to mention this. If you are downloading Bitcoin Core or Sparrow or Spectre, or if you're using Wasabi Wallet still, you want to verify with PGP that you're actually downloading the right software. And I'm not going to butcher it here, but this is a very crucial step. And every software that is a desktop on their website, they'll show you the process here. So I'm not going to butcher it, but just make sure that you actually do this. You can go to Bitcoin Core. They'll walk you through the whole process. You will have to use a little command line, but it's really not that difficult, guys. Again, it seems a lot harder than it is. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm not the most tech savvy guy, but if you really want to take your self-custody seriously, then these are the steps you have to do. This is why I told you to take a Saturday or Sunday when you have some time. You can sit down here, do this in steps, read all the information before you do it, so you kind of have a rough idea of what you're going to do, and then do it all in little parts. You'll download the wallet, verify the PGP keys, make sure you are writing the seed phrase down, wipe the wallet, do a test transaction, all that stuff. It will be a little process, but highly recommend you do these processes, because I have had friends that just kind of like, oh no, I know this is a good wallet, and then they got rug pulled. So you need to do this, especially if you're downloading a desktop wallet on your computer, because everyone's a scammer. There are people out there that want to wreck you. So that's why I'm telling you, take this process slow. Don't do it when you've had a little smoke or a little drink. Like, make sure that you're clear-headed, that you don't overcomplicate this, that everything is organized and in order, because if you lose the keys to your Bitcoin, you lose your Bitcoin. He who owns the seed controls the Bitcoin. So thank you for that, Opti Fields. We're so back. And then also one more, this isn't just for, this is about every Telegram group, guys. Never, ever, ever put your seed phrase into a website. Never, ever send your seed phrase to quote unquote support in Telegram groups. They're scammers. If anyone DMs you privately in a Telegram group, just off rip think that they are a scammer. Usually the Telegram group supports will do everything publicly, and no one will ever ask you to send your seed phrase, but there are people out there that want to scam you guys. So just stay vigilant. This is why we're telling you to verify the PGP keys. This is why we're telling you to eventually take your Bitcoin into hardware wallets and cold storage. And remember the difference between cold storage and hot wallets. If you're downloading a Lightning wallet on your phone, if you're just downloading a mobile wallet, it's a hot wallet, and that means it's connected to the internet. So eventually you want to get your HODL stack into cold storage so that you know it's safe, that you know it's going to be there for the long run. And yeah, I think hopefully, guys, FP, if you're listening, respond in the chat again if you need to clear anything up. But hopefully I gave you guys a good rundown of this, because it's really, really simple. It's not that hard, guys, but like the first steps and the initial process, it is a little scary. I'm not going to lie. Like most people probably, maybe they don't think about it. They're just like, yeah, whatever. Like I have money on whatever exchange and I download a wallet and I send it to it and I don't even write down the seed phrase. I'll tell you, I'm guilty of that as well sometimes because I'm so used to it. I trust these processes, but that's because I've been doing it for 8 years now. So for you, if you're new, take it slow. Take these processes. Maybe it'll take you all weekend to do it correctly, but if you do it correctly the first time, then at least you have some peace of mind that your Bitcoin is going to be there. But guys, it's really simple. Don't leave your Bitcoin on an exchange. Get whatever flavor of a Bitcoin wallet you want, whether that's mobile, all the way to a hardware wallet. Write down your seed phrase. Do a test transaction, wipe the wallet, retrieve the funds, and then send all of your Bitcoin. It's really not as complicated as you make it out to be. If you're making phone calls, if you can remember a phone number, if you remember, the ABC song, then you will be able to remember your seed phrase, write it down. But again, don't let your seed phrase hit the cloud. Don't take pictures of your seed phrase.
Your seed phrase should never enter the digital space.
Yes,
should
exactly.
Always be analog.
Like literally, guys, I know some of you might be hard at reading, so don't read the word out loud to remember it, because everything is listening, guys. So write it down on a piece of paper, eventually transfer that to titanium. These are the best practices, and this is why we have partnered up with all the companies that we have partnered up on Simply Bitcoin. We have Stamp Seed, which is going to go on sale tomorrow, guys. So if you're in the market for some, buy them now and into tomorrow. And this is why we love Passport by Foundation, because it's opti-proof. It's very simple. This is why we love Bitcoin Well, is because it's self-custody by default. You literally need to give them an address to get your Bitcoin. Everything is designed in a way so that you get the best products and you secure your Bitcoin. All right. So Soph needs to jump off. So look, I'm seeing people say do UTXO consolidations at some point. I'll come back and I'll do all that, but we've been going pretty long.
That one.
All right, so guys, again, take your Bitcoin in custody. You have to do this. You want to interact with the Bitcoin network itself. You want to be on the Bitcoin network, run the software. Eventually, I'll get into the nodes and everything again for you guys, but I just wanted to do a rundown of what my favorite wallets are and what the framework is. Anyways, guys, we love you. Sophie, thank you for coming on today. Appreciate you. Always with the signal. And guys, take your Bitcoin in the custody. Do maybe, take a moment this weekend. It is a halving. We're moving into the fourth epoch. Make sure your Bitcoin is in custody. All right, so appreciate it. You can pop off and I'll wrap this one up. All right, hold on. I do want to, I think FP is in the chat real quick. So let me see. I think, hold on, I'm looking for him. I'm seeing someone tag him. So let me see if I can see his comment. All right, let's go. He said, will Robinhood allow me to transfer my Bitcoin to cold storage? I believe so, but I don't use Robinhood. I'm pretty sure they allow withdrawals, but maybe not. But if they don't, if someone's fact check me right now while I roll it out. If they don't buy it on Robinhood. Again, this is why we've partnered with Bitcoin Well. This is why we partner with Bitcoin only exchanges, because if you aren't able to take your Bitcoin into custody, then you are just getting price exposure, and you don't want to get price exposure. You don't want to buy a bunch of Bitcoin on these apps and you can never take your Bitcoin into self-custody. So I wouldn't recommend Robinhood, but hey, you do you. This is why we love Bitcoin Well, is because they incentivize self-custody by default. You literally need to have a Bitcoin wallet to buy Bitcoin on their website so that the best practices are cemented. All right. So BTC Believer says, I have transferred off Robinhood. All right. So yes, you can take your Bitcoin into cold storage, bro. So, maybe start with baby steps, download Blue Wallet, eventually get yourself a passport, eventually go to multi-sig if you feel the need. Again, guys, what you want to think about now, yes, maybe the Bitcoin you own right now is only worth, a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 or whatever, but 10x whatever your holdings are in Bitcoin, and that should be where you're thinking on your security setup. But don't overcomplicate it, guys. Keep it simple. Anyways, we love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow. Nico's in Nashville, and I'm gonna have a fire show with Adam from Bitcoin Well tomorrow. So on that note, boys and girls, we love you. Like, subscribe, share, spread all the Bitcoin signal. This is how we win, is by showing people the Bitcoin revolution and waking them up. All right, peace out.
This episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, on a mission to enable independence.